Hello and welcome to this Ask the Expert video from Manufacturing Management. My name's Paul Fanning and I'm editor of Manufacturing Management. Here with me today is Paul Gibbens, UK and Ireland Director of Engineering for Hayes. Paul, hi, first of all. And
hello.
I wonder if perhaps we could start, if you could maybe introduce yourself and tell us a bit about Hayes.
Yeah, as I say, really nice to be welcomed to do this stroke interview with yourself. But so I'm Paul Gibbens. I'm the National Specialism Director for Engineering for Hayes. I've been in the engineering and technical industry for probably 19 years now, I think. And it's something that I'm immensely passionate about, and hence the reason why I've kind of stayed in manufacturing, engineering, and design right the way through. So I joined Hayes around about 4.5 years ago, with the ambition to grow our engineering capability, with ambition to being the #1 technical and engineering agency in the UK and Ireland. And we've made some really good inroads into the business and into the engineering sector. We got voted in the Financial Times last week as Gold Award in that. So again, there's loads of milestones that we've achieved throughout our development in the engineering business at Hayes, but still a lot more to go. But yeah, thanks very much for the invite. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Not at all, our pleasure. Now, obviously, anyone in the manufacturing and engineering space is aware of the skills gap that it faces. So I wonder, perhaps from a talent perspective, you could tell us what are the biggest challenges the UK manufacturing sector faces at the moment?
Yeah, I think I suppose the key thing is no one has a silver bullet to sort it. But as you mentioned there, certainly skill shortage is a major issue, and it has been for decades. It seems as though we're talking about it now, but even when I started my career in recruitment in technical and engineering, there was a skill shortage then. But it just appears, obviously, over the years, and the removal of, there was very little apprenticeships going on, and there was shall we say, a desire to move into non-manufacturing or engineering sectors from a STEM point of view. And it's had a dramatic effect on skill shortage. We do our UK salary guide every year, and we're due to publish that in the next couple of weeks. But following our evaluations, 97% of organisations who work in manufacturing and engineering said that they've experienced huge skill shortages in the year, and that is very much focused around the technical and operational roles. And that's certainly a hurdle that we need to face. And certainly, that shortage isn't just in suitable applicants, it's competition, it's employers, it's job seekers. And I think as well, there's an element of unrealistic salary expectations that certainly came along in our salary guide. Sorry, go on.
So please, if there's, please do go on.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I wanted to kind of mention as well is that I suppose the shortage and the skill shortage, it's understanding what it actually means. The recent publication that I seen probably about 2 weeks ago was that there's 70,000 vacancies in manufacturing that have gone unfilled as it stands at the moment. I think that equates to roughly around about 7 billion impact on the manufacturing industry. And it's the ripple effect, I suppose, as well, that happens across that investment. So, but I suppose it's worthwhile as well mentioning it's not just a UK and Ireland issue; it's a global issue, certainly.
Now, obviously, as you said, there is no silver bullet. But perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what Hayes is doing to help UK manufacturers to combat these challenges.
Yeah, I suppose at Hayes, and certainly the reason why I stayed in engineering and the reason why it excites me is not only are we supporting industry, but we're passionate about encouraging and advising employees on kind of how they can solve those talent issues. And the biggest thing that comes along is, a larger portion of our advice is diversity. And it's something that's spoken a lot. there's got to be a diversity workforce. We've got to be looking at other avenues in order, one, to entice people over into the manufacturing sector, but two, think outside of the box. Again, going back to our salary guide, and this is a major question that we asked, but 85% of manufacturers that we interviewed said that they would be willing to take professionals on that didn't have the exact skill requirements for the job, but had the intentions to kind of upskill them once they were in that role. And I think that's a kind of a dominant part, really. It's not certainly at Hayes, we are a recruitment business, but we have an awful lot of skills, attributes, additional insights, and a lot more to our business than just finding people jobs. We've got our Hayes skills business, which has become a major part to it, where it's our hire, train, deploy model. I don't know whether you've come across it before, or some of the listeners that are on today, but it's essentially an ability for us to work with employers to attract talent that may not have those skills, onboard them, train them to those exact requirements that a client needs, and then that then gives them an opportunity to kind of beat the race for talent, and that's something that really has taken off in our business, and I'm glad to see. But not only that, but we've got a DE&I advisory service, so we can help and support businesses on how they need to position themselves in the marketplace.
Mm.
It's not a case of, certainly now, if I go back kind of 10, 15 years ago, you'd see the major manufacturers put a job advertisement out, and in reality they would self-service and self-fill. Now that we have got to go deeper into that talent pool, and we've got to attract that talent, not only just with the skill sets but with the right behaviors too. And then secondly, it's a case of practicing what we preach. So we spend an awful lot of our time working with partnerships. So we've just signed a fantastic partnership with Women in Engineering, which is something I'm massively passionate about, and the Armed Forces Covenant. So it's working with armed forces and veterans, injured parties, and supporting them on their journey into a career in technical engineering. Because, as you know, and I know, there's some fantastic talent that are located in the armed forces. I think there's 15,000 people leave the armed forces each year, and there is certainly a talent shortage, and they could go some way to supporting that. But we've got to support those people. So there's a whole myriad of different things that we do, and again, it boils back to, yes, we are a specialist technical and engineering in business at Hayes, but we have a multitude of different specialisms. So we are here to help, and that's the reason.
So I mean, following on from that, really, I mean, um, are you able to consult with and advise manufacturers on current market conditions, and what sort of shape does that take when you do?
Yeah, I think there's a perception that, certainly from our side, that manufacturers understand what's going on in the marketplace, and salaries and rates and market trends and things like that. But for the last number of years, 15, 16 years or whatever, we've been running the Hay salary guide and digital trends. It was quite apparent that people wanted to see this information and be able to benchmark themselves and everything else. So, our research that we perform, we're the largest recruitment business in the world, um, and we have access to huge data, and we have a huge client base as well that's able to support us whenever we need to provide a clear snapshot of the market, or from a professional's point of view, or what are they currently seeing in the marketplace. So certainly, we have an awful lot of data and a lot of availability of that data. And I suppose the other side as well is that manufacturing, the production industry, is constantly adapting to change in the demands and technology advancements and disruptions in supply chains and things like that. So yeah, I think it's our job role really to advise what's happening in that marketplace, and be able to provide assistance and support where needed. So yeah, very much placed to support our manufacturing and engineering clients right the way across the UK and Ireland and further afield if needed.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, going back to the skills gap, I suppose.
Mhm.
Do you feel that apprenticeships are being promoted enough within industry?
I think there's been a significant change. I'm a trustee for the University Training College in Warrington, and I joined that simply to support our future STEM talent. And glad to say, each year when we go to the awards and we see some of our amazing talent gaining apprenticeships and things like that. And I do think there has been some movement, but then we've obviously got T levels that have come in now, which will support that further. There seems to be more. Certainly, I've got three sons, 1 9, 1 5, and a 1 year old. And the conversations I'm having with my 9 year old, whilst it's still very young, it's thinking outside. What would they want to do? And if my son said he didn't want to go to university, but he wanted to go and do an apprenticeship, especially in technical and engineering or whatever it is that you wanted to do, I would certainly embrace that. And I think that's the step change that seems to happen is that they are more um, there's more access to them. But I certainly think there's a lot more that we could be doing, and maybe T levels might support that somewhat. But I do still think that there's a huge, again, even if you look at some of the apprenticeship opportunities that are across the UK, in comparison to some of the size of the businesses, the apprenticeship numbers are minimal, really.
Mm.
So I do think there's a lot more that we can accelerate that further, and that's something that, as a trustee of the UTC, is something that I'm constantly having conversations with clients about whether we can further enhance that. But um, in answer to your question, I think there's been a step change, but certainly nowhere near, us getting to the positions of us being able to cover the 70,000 vacancies that are currently being felt at the moment.
Absolutely. So, if members of our audience are looking for a new role, um, how can they reach out to Hayes, and what's the process for registering with?
Yeah, I think from our side, we've got, especially in technical engineering, I've got 10 centres of excellences located around the UK, with exceptional talent that can support. I think the first thing is reach out to us and speak to us. The amount of candidates and clients that we're working with day to day and supporting them. We don't see ourselves as being a one fits all kind of get you the job and never hear from us. We do want to work as a partner on their career growth. So certainly, reach out to individuals, register your interest on the website. There's hundreds upon hundreds of engineering jobs there. Reach out to the Centre of Excellences and talk about opportunities locally and nationally across those businesses. And as I say, anyone watching this video, please feel free to reach out to myself, whether that's support on what we've spoken about today, or you want me to point you in the right direction to someone who could support you in your either career transition or looking for an opportunity or support, then please feel free to reach out to myself directly.
Fantastic. Um, and with that, it really just remains for me to thank you, Paul Gibbens from Hayes, and thank our audience today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers for the invite.